The Hauraki Big Show. Thanks to crave-worthy street food, freshly made with Reburger.
Welcome.
This is big.
To the Hauraki Big Show.
Really big.
With Jason Hoyte, Minogue and Keyzie.
Oh, g'day, you mad bastards. Great to have your company this gorgeous Wednesday afternoon, the 14th of May, 2025. And you, my friends, as always, listening to The Big Show, brought to you by Reburger.
Serving good times and good food. Dine in or take away at Reburger today.
Reburger.
Yeah.
So good.
How good?
G'day, Mogey, you stallion. How's life?
Go pretty grousey, you mad dog, you sick son of a bee. What's the other one that I heard recently? You weak-gutted dog. I thought that was a good one.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
That's from the NRL.
Is that for me? Is that your weak-gutted dog?
I was actually meant to remember to warn you that I was going to use it, but I was just in the moment there. But yeah, that's what Ricky Stewart called a player.
Right.
He's pretty Australian. It's a very Australian term, a weak-gutted dog. I don't know what it means, but you know it's not good.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
Is it like its guts are weak, so it throws up all the time?
Weak-gutted dog.
So you got no guts means you're a coward.
You've been gutted, yeah.
And you're a dog.
You're a dog.
And you're weak.
Yeah, you're a dog.
That reminds me when Dean Jones was batting in India with his captain Alan Border, and he felt really bad. And Alan Border said to him, "All right, Dean, you go back inside and have a lie down and send a real Australian out, mate."
And then in the end, if I'm not mistaken, Dean Jones shat himself.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Like a real Australian.
I was going to say like a weak-gutted dog.
How you going, Keyzie?
Really great, fellas. Still buzzing off the high of last night's Night of Culture live show. Another one to do tonight, though.
Yeah.
So once again, for those listening, the show tonight will finish at 6 p.m, the radio show.
Yes.
Just to give us a little extra time to get ready for tonight's live performance.
Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, no, look, it was a great experience. It was nice to tread the boards again, Mogey. We remembered our lines. I was relieved about that. And once that was out of the way, it was all tickety-boo.
But we'll do a wee bit of a debrief
Yeah,
shortly.
we will.
Then we'll do the big one tomorrow.
Yeah, and an extensive one tomorrow. But let's get into the tune, shall we?
I reckon.
Bit of Jimmy.
The Hauraki Big Show with Jason Hoyte, Mike Minogue and Keyzie.
Radiohead there on the Radio Hauraki Big Show this Wednesday afternoon. So obviously last night we had our first ever Big Show Night of Culture. Fellas, what's the what was the vibe after and what's the vibe today, Mogey?
Last year we did a stand-up comedy.
Yes.
And it was only 5 minutes each we have to do. And I sort of look back at the nervousness that I had around that. And I'm quite amazed, really. But I think I felt more exhilaration out the back of the comedy because that had always been something that I'd wanted to do, and I've got a love for stand-up comedy. So last year. So last night I didn't have that same feeling. I had a feeling of accomplishment last year, which is funny considering I didn't prepare anything, and it was 6 or 7 minutes we ended up doing. I was relieved.
Yes.
And I enjoyed it once we got started. And tonight I feel I'm good as gold to crack in tonight. I don't have any concerns whatsoever. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I think people enjoyed it.
Yes.
So weird, because we put like a minimal amount of work into this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest. We hadn't rehearsed it until Monday.
Well, to be fair, we rehearsed it yesterday. We rehearsed it on the day off.
We rehearsed it yesterday,
We organised the order.
That's right, on Monday. And so the people that went along, which, not a lot of people, and 0.1% of the audience right now, what you saw, it's just such a weird thing to wrap my head around. Like, we put out 47 minutes of just this show for some people. I've never been a part of anything like that.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing for me to wrap my head around, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I was fizzed up for it. I knew it would be good. You guys were hating it. And then afterwards, I was pleased at how it went, but it was exactly how I pictured it was going to go. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jace?
Yeah. It did take me back a little bit.
You like it?
No, I'm not taken aback, but it took me back to another time, actually. It was fine. It was good. And like you, Mogey, afterwards I was more sort of relieved than anything else. But to be honest, even though I was sort of anxious and slightly nervous about it, I kind of wasn't at the same time.
Yeah, but you were,
mean?
because you and I were backstage stomping up and down.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pace.
I was just trying to get my body moving.
Especially because it starts off with something that's a little bit off piece for us as well. And it was bloody good. And I think the main thing is the reason why you have nervousness around it is because it's a completely it's an insane show. Like what we do in that
It's
show,
ridiculous.
there's nothing else like it. I'd venture on God knows.
Yeah,
Who knows?
I would say so.
There would be some crazy stuff, and that's the thing. It's like we've never done it before. And then in terms of rehearsal, Keyzie, we rehearsed a couple of scenes. Outside of that, it was like, and then I'll do this and I'll do that. And like we didn't run it through in any way, and some of the stuff you couldn't do until it was time.
That's right.
Like the thing that something that Jace did that I really wanted to see, but it was just like, and then I'll do this and I'll do that. And so I haven't seen half of the show, and I'm in it.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I haven't seen 3/4 of it, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but no, look, it was great, and hopefully I'm pretty sure the audience enjoyed it. My wife enjoyed it. My
That's
My
the
wife loved it.
My
Yeah.
daughter was mortified, but I think secretly she quite liked it.
Yes.
I think she enjoyed it. My
yeah,
wife
yeah.
loved it. She
Yeah,
said,
great.
I was like, were you nervous? And she's like, the reason I wasn't nervous is because it was you and Jace and Mike.
Yeah.
And it was her and your two wives were there as well. And it was like, we were sharing the embarrassment on our side and they were sharing the embarrassment on their side.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so she was like, I could actually enjoy it. And she said it was great. She even had one piece of feedback for me.
Oh, yes.
One particular segment that I have to do on my own.
Yes.
Involving quite a loud shirt.
Yes.
She had a bit of feedback for that, for what I could do tonight.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
My wife's got some feedback for something you could do tonight as well.
Really?
In a different, yeah.
Okay, that's good to
It's
know.
actually not bad.
Yes.
It's actually not bad.
Right.
I'll tell you after this.
So do you think tonight's show, even though last night was a success, do you reckon tonight's show will be better or worse?
I think so. I think it'll be good because we're
We'll
not
be
going to
relaxed.
Yeah, we'll be much more relaxed, and when you're relaxed, you're funnier.
Geez, it flew by. But the other thing is, do you risk trying to be funny?
Yes.
And as soon as you try and be funny, we will be dead in the water.
smell it, yeah.
But oh well.
But
Oh,
if anyone's going tonight and you're listening, prepare yourself for approximately 47 minutes
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yes.
Don't know if it's good
I
stuff.
think there's going to be some video footage that comes out at some point
Oh
as well.
God.
The Hauraki Big Show with Jace, Mike and Keyzie. Tune in weekdays at 4 on Radio Hauraki.
Yes, indeed. Split ends there on the Radio Hauraki Big Show this Wednesday afternoon. Now, fellas, I'm curious, after the show, how you went on the old sleep front. So can we have a bit of sleep chat?
It's Sleep Chat with Jason Mike.
And me, Keyzie.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
That's a real old one. That might be our oldest sting.
I think it is the oldest thing, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got to bed but couldn't get to sleep. Just fizzing, just absolutely fizzing off the show there and there. But I got to sleep about 11 or so, and then my daughter came in to see me about 3:30 a.m. And I got up to go to the bathroom when she came in, and then I heard her telling my wife a joke. Why did the frog like the custard square or something like that? And the answer was because it was slimy. So she's just making up her own jokes. And she's sort of learning. They're better than they were, but she's sort of working out how they work. And then if you don't laugh, I'm never telling a joke again. You don't like any of my jokes. So it sort of reacts the same way I do.
Yeah,
So she's
like-
workshopping.
Like every comedian does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every joke's the best joke ever.
Yes.
And then she kept on coming back and forth for the rest of the night. So I got up and got to work at about 5 a.m.
Right.
Yeah, and then here I am.
So you're tired.
Yeah.
Can I just say, your daughter Mogey Minogue
Yeah.
Jr., she is quite adorable. So
Yeah.
I think if she was my daughter and she was coming in at 3:30 to tell me a joke about a custard square,
Yeah.
I don't think I could be mad at that. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, you're not mad about it.
Yeah, you're just
but
like,
it's the 5th and the 6th and the 7th
Right.
visit
Yeah, okay.
where it starts getting less and
More
less
jokes?
and less interesting. What did she do? She came in and told me about some pizza. And she came in and told me about, there was something else, and it was just like, dude, honestly. Oh, she said, when you went out last night and the babysitter came around, I didn't even cry. I said, oh, that's awesome, man. You can tell me that tomorrow when I wake up if you want. And then she said, then she didn't like that. So I should have just said, oh, that's awesome. All right, see you in the morning. That was my mistake. And instead she stomped off. And then she came back and she said, you don't love me, then that's fine. I'll never talk to you again. And stomped off down. So that's
Excellent.
they've got all the emotional intelligence of a comedian as well.
Exactly.
So funny. Oh my God.
What about you, Keyzie? How'd you go, baby?
I actually got off to sleep surprisingly well. Turns out as part of the performance I have to drink a wee bit of bourbon. Drank a bit more than I thought.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
And that also, fun fact, lubed up the pipes a wee bit.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. People are going to think
Which
that
pipes?
means... Yeah, people are going to think I mean take a shit, but that's not what I meant.
That's not what I thought, actually.
That's not what I thought, but we're in the right area.
Yeah.
Guys.
Fellas.
And then got home, had a beer, just like a wind down beer post show, and ended up going to sleep pretty quickly. Happy about that, but woke up at 3 a.m. to my wife, who's got a speech to do, who's done her speech now, but was working on a few notes for her speech. And then I started like talking to her about it and helping, and then I was just awake until 6:30 when she left.
Yeah, good.
But then went back to sleep again because I work in the afternoons.
How good.
Yeah, it was great. What about you, Jace?
Yeah, like you guys, I was pretty knackered after the show. You know, once the sort of high and the exhilaration wears off, got home, went to bed about 11, and just randomly woke up at 11:30, and that was me.
Half an hour sleep.
Yeah, if that, I think. And it was only a light sleep. It wasn't a deep REM sleep.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so
But you were saying when you...
Probably about 20 minutes, and then I just went, oh, well, you know, so I just did some admin, did some tidying of the house. I actually ended up painting the laundry because it was one of those jobs that, you know what I mean, that needed to be done, and we are always putting it off. And I thought, well, look, maybe 1:30 in the morning now, but
Maybe
I might as well
that's
get
the
it
time,
done.
yeah. What colour?
Pardon?
The Hauraki Big Show with Jason Hoyte, Mike Minogue, and Keyzie.
Yes, indeed. AC/DC there on the Radio Hauraki Big Show this Wednesday afternoon. The time 4:38. Now, we've got a special treat, actually, because we've got our old mate Charlie Carbeck's Warrior, who is our rugby league correspondent, fellas, isn't he?
He certainly is.
But we've got him on for another reason today, and it's not really to do with league. Charlie, of course, works for Portaloo.
Porter King.
King.
He started it.
Oh, see, I butchered it already.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Sorry
really
about that,
You're
Charlie.
so close to the facts there.
Yeah. Charlie, you there, man?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just kind of trying not to cringe.
Yeah, it's a full-time job. Now, the reason we've got you on, Charlie, is you guys have shot to superstardom there. You're there on Instagram as Porter King NZ.
Porter King.
Nice, Jace.
And you've done a little promo video for your business. Goes for a couple of minutes, and let me tell you, it's an emotional roller coaster. It's a story of a gentleman who's caught on the south coast of Wellington. He's busting to go to the toilet. You get the emergency call, and the boys turn up, go through Devil's Gate, for those that are familiar with it, on the south coast there, and get to old Mike before he absolutely explodes. Whose idea? Can I just say, it's a hilarious video.
It is, and it's also up on the Hauraki Big Show Insta.
It is.
Collabed.
That's right. And talk us through the idea here, Charlie. Is this your Spielbergian idea?
You know what? I'm going to take full credit for it. But the way it happened was we had that Suzuki. My mate had that Suzuki, and it couldn't get a warrant. And then I took it to a mate, and I had a big bottle of Jim Beam in the back. He said, this is the last warrant it's going to get. And then I just looked at my mate and I said, oh, yeah, we're going to write this off. And then so we had the idea to bolt the Portaloo on, and we were going to just load up Devil's Gate with pyrotechnics and do something like that. But, ended up just doing a little promo vid. And it worked out well. I wasn't too sure how it was going to come out, but just a couple of guys knocking about, really.
Charlie, look, don't undersell it, man. Once again, go to the Hauraki Big Show's Instagram page or Porter King NZ. You can watch the video there. It is like a mid-90s Suzuki little four-wheel drive Jimny thing with a Portaloo mounted on the roof.
Yes.
Is this something Porter King's looking to bust into there, Charlie? Do you want people, if they're in an emergency situation, to not call an ambulance and call Porter King instead?
Yeah, well, if it's Big Mike, I told him to delete my number. But anyone else, we'll do that, you know. Just do it a little charge out rate.
Well, it has gone off, man. You got 80,000 views on it, and it's been out for under a day. You got 2,500 likes and almost as many shares, 2,300 shares, which is pretty phenomenal. That's a great testament to the quality. Who was your director?
There's a guy on pretty rude of me. His name's Ash, Snowman Films.
Right.
And we just did it all off the cuff on the day.
So good. But actually, that's a great idea, because I don't know we talk about it often on the show, fellas, how we have sort of, bowel and wee issue sort of emergencies.
Yes.
What a great idea to have an emergency Porter King out there, You find yourself in the middle of nowhere, to get someone to come out to you so you can let loose.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to take off.
No, I think it could.
I think that's really good, man.
Well, what I really liked about it, Charlie, was the editorial decision to leave what really should have been outtakes and bloopers, leave them in the final cut. So there's a point where you say a line, something along the lines of, have your last wonton, fellas. Mike's about to explode. And then everybody in the room while you were filming it starts laughing. Then you start laughing, breaking the fourth wall. And, you just leave that in the cut.
Yeah, it's a bit Big Show-esque, isn't it? The way we do things on here, the way I try to tell you boys to do things.
Well, it's film noir. It's risque filmography. Can I say that, Charlie Gubb? Seriously, go have a look at it. Hauraki Big Show on the Instagram there. It's 2.5 minutes. Pretty funny. But most importantly, Charlie, how do you think the Wires are going to go this weekend, man?
Well, second most importantly, I thought I'd mention something.
Go on.
You know how we were saying the Warriors are playing the Dolphins tomorrow?
Yes, on Saturday.
A little documentary came up on my YouTube last night that I watched, and it's really interesting, about a guy that falls in love with a couple of dolphins who, as you know, are mammals, and they enjoy fornicating.
They do.
They love it.
Absolutely.
They do it for fun.
Yeah, it's a good watch, and nothing creepy going on in there.
Mean. What's it called?
I don't know. Just maybe search dolphin cunnilingus.
Charlie Gubb, you legend. Good on you, mate. We'll speak on Monday, eh?
Oh, yeah, about that team list.
Yeah. That's right. That's what we're going to talk about as well. Bugger me.
James Fisher-Harris is back, but the Red Hot Chilies have already started playing, Charlie. So we have to leave you to it, mate.
Leave me on, I'll sing over him. See you, Alice.
See you, mate.
The Hauraki Big Show with Jason Hoyte, Mike Minogue and Keyzie.
The Clash there on the Radio Hauraki Big Show this Wednesday night. Let's talk TV, shall we?
Good idea, Jace.
What's on the telly with Mike Minogue?
Yes. TV.
Yes.
Hi guys. I binge watched Troy Kingi's Desert Hikoi.
Oh, about his recording of that new album?
He is recording of his new album, because he's doing a new album every single year, and one every year for 10 years is what he's doing, in a different genre, Jace.
Yes.
Bloody hard yakka that, man.
Would be.
He must be coming near the end of that.
Yeah, I think it was about his 8th or something like that.
Yeah, right.
But he went out to Joshua Tree, a very small community out there, but they've got quite a famous recording studio, and a lot of pretty amazing musicians have come out of there. So Kai has started out, and that was the birth of Nick Oliveri and Josh Homme. And so Eagles of Death Metal, Queens of the Stone Age, all of those guys came from around that area. Very incredibly small, in the hundreds of people.
Yes.
If
Wow.
that.
And two of those guys came from there.
And two of them, plus the lead singer from Eagles of Death Metal.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of them, and they retain a recording studio out there. But it's pretty amazing that this entire sound essentially was born out of this tiny little spot, and then it took off all over the world. So he goes out there, Troy Kingi, because he's a huge fan of Queens of the Stone Age, and he sort of feels like he needs to get an injection of... he's got a bit of writer's block, and he needs some inspiration. So he goes out there, connects with the local Native American community, gets on the mushies.
Okay.
Gets on the mushies.
I would have thought more peyote out there.
Well, yeah, it was an option. They had lots of options. Can I say that? He sings he puts his hand on a rock wall there and sings a waiata. It's pretty bloody good, man. And he gets inspiration. He goes, I think it worked. I haven't been able to write any music, and today I wrote 4 songs. It's a hell of a location. I would have liked more on the music and more on the mushies. But yeah, definitely worth a watch. I'll give it 3.5 buzzies, and that's on TVNZ Plus.
Can I just say with Troy Kingi?
Yeah.
So I first interviewed him ages ago on the night show years back, and I think he had just done a reggae album,
right?
Which was I might have been his second of his genre albums. And then he, I think, did a funk album, which was great.
Yeah.
He did a space opera album. Inspired by David Bowie.
Yes.
That is my favourite album of his.
Right.
When you hear about a Troy Kingi space opera, what? Like 2019 maybe. The songs on that rule, man. You put that on like a sunset while you're out camping or something. It is the most chill.
Mushies.
Or on mushies, absolutely. It's the most enjoyable music.
Well, he does say in it as well. He goes, he gets people asking him all the time, what drugs were you on when you made this album? Because all of his albums are pretty trippy.
Yeah, they are.
And he had never taken any drugs at all outside of, I believe, weed.
Yeah.
He says in this thing. He'd never had them until this was the first time he'd had anything when he had the mushies on this trip in this doco. So,
wow.
And it unblocked him, yeah. Not that we glorify drugs on this show.
We don't.
Don't do it.
Responsibly.
Winners don't use drugs,
No,
Keyzie.
Just say no,
Just say
Keyzie.
no,
Just say
Keyzie.
no.
Yeah. I watched a documentary on psychopaths.
How was that? How many buzzies?
Why?
Because I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated by it. And there was one of the psychiatrists who was on it, because they did all these brain scans, and the psychopathic brain is different from the normal brain. And there's certain areas of the brain that don't function in a psychopath, and it shows up in these brain scans. And this psychiatrist was being shown these 3 brain scans, 2 of which were normal, and one was a psychopath's one. And he said, wow, that's really phenomenal. And they said to him, well, actually, it's a family member of yours.
Oh, wow.
Whose brain scan it was. And he went, and what they'd done is they'd taped over the names of who the people were in the brain scans. And he was so curious that he pulled off the tape to find out what member of the family it was, and it was him.
I thought it was going to be. So he'd pull it off and read it and then go, my wife.
No, it was him.
Wow.
And that's what got him into psychiatric sort of work, and now he's a very famous psychiatrist.
And serial killer.
No, he's not a serial killer. He's very good. But I love that sort of stuff. I find it fascinating. And they do a big thing where, the sort of scorecard for psychopaths. I scored pretty highly.
The Hauraki Big Show with Jason Hoyte, Mike Minogue, and Keyzie.
Welcome back, you massive backbones. Hope you're getting through your hump day okay. You're listening to The Big Show, brought to you by Reburger.
Beef, chicken, vegan, and vegetarian options available. Reburger, redefining the norm.
Reburger.
Yum.
Yeah. Speaking of Reburger, fellas.
Oh.
After the show last night, geez, I was hungry.
Yeah, were you?
Yeah, I was starving.
What'd you get, man?
And so I went home and...
This better be Reburger, because that's
oh,
who
no,
we're talking about here.
I made myself like a wrap.
Huh.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that you went to Reburger.
I was thinking about it, but I was just so tired. I just needed to get home and make a wrap.
Oh, yeah, what was in the wrap?
Backbone
what's that?
burger.
Katsu chicken with a sauce, some salad and avocado.
So you were tired, so tired you couldn't get Reburger, but you had enough energy to make a katsu chicken wrap, which doesn't exist, by the way.
Yeah, it does. You get it in the box, Keyzie.
Really?
You katsu chicken.
Oh,
it has a
pre-pack
sauce.
it. Right,
Yeah, and then
okay.
you put it in the air fryer for 10.
For 10, you
Beautiful.
beauty.
Yeah, right.
Beautiful.
Did you actually have that?
Yes.
Yeah, sweet as, all good.
Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah, good.
If it was me, I would have gone to Reburger.
Oh,
Yeah, same.
I so wanted to, but I forgot my wallet.
I actually did go. God,
Oh,
it was
did you?
good. Yeah,
Oh.
me and the wife there. God, it was good, man.
Oh,
Have
did
you
you
guys
go?
had the chips?
Oh,
That's so good, mate.
Yeah, man. And they even gave us, because the one I went to, they had a temporary drive-through.
What?
Yeah. Just for one night only, it turns out.
That's
but they
crazy.
actually gave us a free sauce chicken.
Oh.
So we've got a sauce chicken at home now. You can get your own sauce chickens.
so good.
Yeah.
They gave you a live chicken with sauce
Yeah.
around its
And when the
neck.
sauce runs out, you just chuck it in the bin.
The chicken.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a bin chicken.
Oh, shit, that's good content. Pugs, can you send that to Reburger? They're going to love that, man.
The Hauraki Big Show with Jason Hoyte, Mike Minogue and Keyzie.
Tom Petty there on the Radio Hauraki Big Show this Wednesday afternoon. Now, there's been an ongoing feud between the Big Show and the Breakfast Show. And fellas, I've got to be honest with you, I had a chat with the Breakfast fellas this morning, and old Jerry is fuming at you, Mogey. Just laying into him, you know. He was pretty upset. He considers you a close friend, and I had to sort of calm him down a bit. Said I had a few words with you to calm you down, and hopefully it'll all just sort of blow over. But she's getting a bit testy.
Was he a bit wound up about the maybe the shadow was casting across his 3-egg challenge? Was it that?
No, it was more.
Well, I know what it was.
It was more the Timu Jerry.
Yeah, Jace. What it was, Mike, was all the stuff Jace was saying.
Oh, sure.
That he's pretending you said.
Yeah, I said. Okay, well that's fair. Yeah.
It was about Jerry looking really good on telly, but you get up close and he's actually a shambles of a human. That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
The reason there is biffo is that the Breakfast Show challenged us to a game of golf. We lost.
Yeah, you got pumped.
That's what
you had a shocker.
I did have a shocker.
You let the team down, Keyzie.
I was shit. So it's 1-0 to the Breakfast Show. They then challenged us to another thing. It was a terrible idea. It was cooking eggs.
Yes.
We've gone back and said the ultimate test is 100-meter sprint. There are 4 of us on this show. There are 4 of them and their team. 4x100-meter relay.
Yeah.
Now, what I understand is that Jerry has arthritis in one of his knees. He doesn't have any cartilage. He's just had knee surgery. However, he is desperate to be involved in the relay. So I think today's clip, and they've recorded a little transmission for our show, I think he got a surgeon in.
Yeah, I think they were doing a live surgical kind of, what would you call it, report
so
at
he could have just, so that way he would be able to say, look, you heard it on air, I'm not making it up. It's smart.
It is smart. So, and if he, apparently, reiterating, he really wants to do it. So let's just listen to the transmission and see what they had to say. Fellas?
He's got big nipples. Keyzie, midnight steamers. Pug son. My wife, massive honker. You mad bastard. Backbone. Oh yeah, backbone. That's right.
G'day, Big Show. It's the Breakfast Show here. Just letting you know we have spoken to my doctor, who has put it in my hands, but has ultimately suggested that if I do run in that 4x100-metre race against you, I'll be potentially doing damage, which will mean that I can't do a whole lot of later things and will push back my rehab that I'm currently, and I'm actually making some advances at the moment in.
Yeah. Irreparable is the word getting bandied about. And look, we did hear you guys talking yesterday about wanting a second opinion. Sure. If you guys would like to get in touch with a doctor that can look over Jerry's medical records, and if that doctor comes back and says to you, look, he can't run again, we've come up with a solution. We will use a runner for Jerry's leg of the 4x100. And in fairness, I think it needs to be someone, we think it needs to be someone who has worked for the station or currently works for the company. And so we've provided you with a list of 3 alternatives. And are we saying they can pick from them, Jerry? They can pick.
Yeah. Why not?
You guys can pick. Here are our 3 alternatives. Isaac from out in the office, Mash from the ACC, who only just left this show mere weeks ago, and ACC head G Lane, who has not agreed to do this. These are the 3 options that we present for you to choose from. Pending, obviously you guys still think Jerry should sacrifice the rest of his life for this one opportunity, pending second approval from a doctor of your choosing. So I think that's where that stands at the moment. We look forward to hearing from your selection.
Fellas, what do we reckon?
Well, it's got to be like for like, doesn't it?
Yes,
so
it does.
you say to yourself, is Mash like Jerry?
No,
both
he thinks
tall,
he is.
Both tall.
Yeah, okay.
So they've got that going for each other, but there is a 20-plus year age gap there. Is Isaac like Jerry?
Hell yeah.
Can I say Jerry wishes?
Yeah.
Jerry wishes.
Yeah.
But again, roughly a 20-year age gap.
Can I just, for the listeners that don't know, Isaac, early 20s?
Yes.
Polynesian gentleman with a mullet.
Yes.
Of stocky build.
A great mullet as well, might I say. A luscious mullet. So to me, it needs to be someone around about the same age.
Someone he went to school with.
Someone he went to school with, that's right. I mean, it has to be Lane, doesn't it?
Look, the only thing I would say to that, and the only alternative I would accept in that regard, and we've put it out there before, is Matt Heath.
Yeah.
Matt Heath.
Yeah, but I mean, close enough.
Yeah. Lane, the thing about Lane is, I mean, he's gone to seed. There's no question about it. But if he gets all of that sort of weight propelled forward, I'm thinking he could be a bit dangerous. He could be more.
That's okay though.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'll go Lane if we have to.
Well, let's discuss it in the next couple of songs, Beastie Boys, by the way, and send them a retort.
Okay.
Hauraki Big Show with Jace, Mike and Keyzie. Tune in weekdays at 4 on Radio Hauraki.
Guns roses there on the Radio Hauraki Big Show this Wednesday afternoon. Now, Breakfast have got back to us for the 4x100 metre challenge. They're saying Jerry's pretty much out. They've given us three options: Isaac from The Office, Mash, who used to work on the Breakfast Show, and G Lane, fellas.
That's right. So we have to choose out of those three people who will replace Jerry in a 400 metre running race, like a proper relay Olympic styles. Mogey, you want like for like. Makes sense. Same age, G Lane. They went to school together. It's like for like. However, I'm picturing G Lane commentating this with Jerry in comments.
Right.
Like, I want full commentary because I think we need a piece of audio that we can then play to the audience that can't be there live.
Well, he can commentate it in post.
In post.
Yeah.
But if he's...
And we've got a well, what's your solution then for who does the running?
I genuinely think Mash.
I'm 100% against it.
But can I just... What a caveat, just quickly, what if... So your reason obviously is that we're swapping out Jerry with a guy who's 20 plus years younger.
Yes.
This is a guy who's same height as me, quite tall. He's been working out a lot. He runs every day.
Mm-hmm.
I still think I can beat him.
But Keyzie, this is the problem. This isn't your race. If you want to do a 100-metre race with them, you're more than welcome.
This is what I'm pitching.
But this is, you can do that. But what also happens is the lead that we get by having Mike Lane involved means that we as a team get an opportunity to win. If you want to have a side race, beautiful. But it's not just about the one-on-one with you. There's three other races that me and Jace have to be a part of and win, and Pugs. So we're handicapped.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so you've got to think about us.
Okay,
right.
No, look, and seriously, I feel like you're just being overly confident in the fact that I'm going to bring it home. And I will.
Well, that's the thing. I know that we can do anything, and Jace will bring that sucker
Well,
home.
we can't do anything because the last challenge you lost. You got your ass kicked in golf.
I'm happy with G
I'm
Lane.
just going with the available evidence.
G Lane, and as I was talking about off here, or Matt Heath, but G Lane it is.
G Lane?
Yeah.
Okay, so shall we record a transmission and just let them know we're locking in G Lane? Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Big lips, Keyzie. Backbone. My wife. Pugson. Massive honker. Midnight steamer. Backbone.
Incoming transmission from the Big Show. Yeah, morning, fellas. Big Show here. Hoodie, J, Mogey, and Keyzie. We've received your message. We've discussed it on air, and whilst it was inevitable that Jerry's falling apart, and so we probably guess he wasn't going to be a part of it. We've gone through your options. We've selected G Lane.
Mm-hmm.
The only alternative that we will accept in that regard as a possible outsider is Matt Heath
And Pixie Campbell.
and Pixie Campbell. They're the only three options you have.
The reason being, it's like for like.
Yes.
It's the same age.
Yeah.
I was pushing for it to be Mash,
Yes.
purely so that I could take him on in a sort of mano-a-mano situation.
Yeah.
But
But now you get to take on Lane.
now I get to take on G Lane.
How good's that?
Yeah, that's great. I've always wanted to take G Lane on, so...
Now, the funny thing about this, of course, is G Lane doesn't know.
And I also have a feeling he's going to say, I'm not effing doing it.
Yeah.
But that's...
There certainly will be a question around what's in it for him, but I'll let you guys, breakfast fellas can,
They can
sort that out. That's your teammate there. And
Yeah, totally.
Okay,
Totally.
so G Lane, locking it in, filling in for Jerry on the 4x100 metre relay race.
Yeah, done. Tick.
Over to
Ding.
you, fellas.
The Hauraki Big Show with Jason Hoyte, Mike Minogue and Keyzie.
Yes, indeed. Foo Fighters there on the Radio Hauraki Big Show this Wednesday afternoon. Now, as you know, we're doing a shortened show finishing off at 6 o'clock. Our good mate Tony Lyall is going to take over.
Well, I think it's Prebz today.
Oh, is it Prebz?
Yeah,
is
I
it?
think Prebz is back.
Oh, wow.
Well, why is Tony in here then?
Well, Tony's here because, A, he watched our live performance last night.
Oh,
We're going to do a bit of
God.
a review, and also we're doing a comedy show together on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, that sporty thing. G'day, Tony, you mad bastard.
Hey,
How's
g'day,
life?
fellas. Well, this is news to me. I thought I was also filling in from 6 o'clock tonight, but evidently Prebz is back, so I guess I'll bugger off after this.
Yeah.
Hey, have you been penciled in to do it?
No, just doing a bit of a joke there, Keyzie.
Oh my God.
Just having a bit of a laugh, yeah. I thought we might all pick up on the vibes, but evidently no.
So very confusing there. I thought I'd crossed a few lines there, but that's all right. Tony, we started a live performance last night, very intimate venue. One of the very early doors, I have to do a thing which involves me sort of lying down on the ground. And as I went to lie down, I looked up and saw that you were sitting front row.
Oh, you front row?
Right in eye shot.
Yeah, and I'm sorry about that. Listen, I'm not going to lie, I didn't pay to come see the show. I've got a performance pass because I've got a show in the festival. And so I thought, I wonder if I can sneak in. I wonder if there's an extra seat just sitting there empty. So you've got to wait till all the paying punters sit down, obviously. And there was a seat left. They said, you sure you can sit in?
Unbelievable.
And I wandered in, and it was the seat right in the front row centre. And I thought, it would have been nice if I could slip out the back. So I planted myself front row centre, and I got a good look at you, to be honest, Keyzie. You were displaying a lot last night.
Well, we were putting ourselves out there, weren't we? You're a seasoned performer, mate. When you were sitting there watching the Big Show attempt to do a comedy show, how'd you feel?
Well, a bit much blackface for me, but other than that, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, well, we tried to stop Jace from doing it.
Oh, look, it's funny stuff, you know what I'm saying? Great stuff, mate. Now, speaking of shows...
Yes.
I believe you're doing a sporting show with old Keyzie here, or he's going to be a part of it.
He is going to be a part of it this Saturday night, 10:30 p.m. at Q Theatre. It's called Spirit of the Games.
10:30 p.m.
It's a late show, baby. No holds barred.
I'd be asleep for an hour by that
Tony,
stage.
do you mind if I ask how old you are, man?
I'm 38 years old.
And how many kids are you running?
I've got 3 kids.
Yeah, man.
I know, it's a good effort. It's a late show as part of the comedy festival, though, and that's what you want. You want those late vibes. Everyone's a bit woozy. They've been up for hours. You know, they've had a few drinks, so you can cut loose.
Is it a bit of a cut loose type show, is it?
It is a bit of a cut loose.
Okay.
You bring your paint again. Come do that again. You can do whatever you want.
Okay, all right, that's good to know, actually.
Any kind of sort of accents you'll be running as well?
Well, I'll stick to my standard New Zealand European. That's what I'll be doing. But other people on the show, we've got Chris Key's going to be there. Ben Hurley will be there. Lana Walters, who is the reigning Billy T champ, I might add.
Yeah.
And James McConey, and he's known to do a few questionable things.
Yeah, no question. So what's the sort of format of the show? Is it just a sort of a crazy comedic take on sport?
Is it ripping something else off?
Well, it might be ripping something off slightly. So this is some behind-the-scenes sort of intel here, is that Chris, of course, is a star of the show Game of Two Halves, and I actually write the show. So this is what that show would be like if I didn't have to run the script that I wrote past anyone. It's the questions that I would like to ask in real life.
This is good to know, because it has to go through the eyes of sponsors, and you know it's broadcast on Sky, Game of Two Halves, so they have certain standards to uphold, blah, blah, blah. Tony, he's a sicko, he's a weak-gutted dog. He wants it to be completely filthy.
Yes, I was a weak-gutted dog then, and I am now, so I like to really spice the rice when I'm making these sort of shows. So it'll be all the things that I'm not allowed to put on broadcast television in a late-night show at Q Theatre.
And, of course, Paul Douglas is going to be there as well, who's an absolute legend. Tickets, comedyfestival.co.nz. Search for, what is it, Spirit of the Game? Spirit
of the Game, if you type in Spirit or Tony Lyall, either or, that'll take you along there. Just go comedyfestival.co.nz.
All right, I understand you've got a sport quiz for us.
I certainly do. I've done a little bit of prep for you guys, so if you'd like to get amongst some of that, I'm ready.
Go.
All right, this is just first in, first served, all right?
Okay.
What is the official basketball brand of the NBA?
Chris Spalding.
Incorrect, it is Wilson.
Damn
Which
it.
member of the Big Show has the biggest downstairs?
Chris.
Hoyte J.
Does.
Did you say incorrect? That's actually Pugs. Which NRL team does superstar Latrell Mitchell play for?
Chris. So, he
got in there quickly. Who was the funniest member of the Big Show during the Night of Culture last night?
Pugs.
No, it was actually Keyzie. Due to, when you put on that face paint, I couldn't stop laughing. What year was the controversial Springbok tour to New Zealand?
81.
81, yes.
81 is tour. And in 1981, was Hoyte J for or against the tour?
He was for it.
Yeah, 4 is correct. That's what it says here, so I can't debate that. What surface is beach volleyball played on?
Sand.
Yeah, it's correct. I think Hoyte J, you got in there.
Did.
How many stumps you used during a game of
3.
2.
Oh, 6.
Actually, 6. There we go.
Thank you.
And the last question: which ACC commentator has been run out in the most humiliating way?
Hoyte J.
Yes, that is you, Hoyte J.
Good stuff, mate.
That is the quiz, and I think if I do my summations here. Well, I wasn't keeping score, so there's no way to tell who won, but I will be on Saturday night.
Yeah, and I thought of misunderstood the idea that I was buzzing in with my own name.
Yes.
And just saying Chris.
Well, these guys didn't follow your lead at all.
I cottoned on to that one early.
I like that you set the format.
Didn't
I thought,
seem
I'm
like Chris would be the answer to those questions.
No, so that was my bad.
No, the first question was, what is the official basketball brand of the NBA? And you said Chris.
Yeah, it's my bad, fellas. So once again, comedyfestival.co.nz, Spirit of the Game. Come along Saturday night if you want to see myself, Tony Lyall, Paul Douglas, Lana Walters, Ben Hurley, and James McConey.
Yeah, man. And next week, come along to the old solo show if this is still running.
Good on you, mate.
Oh, don't worry about that one.
The Hauraki Big Show with Jace, Mike, and Keyzie. Tune in weekdays at 4 on Radio Hauraki.
Well, there you go, you mad bastards. That's us done for the day. Like yesterday, a shortened show. We're going to toddle off down to the theatre now, fellas, and finish this goddamn season off, aren't we, Mogey? We're going to finish it off on a high.
Yeah, man, we are going to. And look, I've enjoyed it. It's been great. Here we are halfway through the season, and just one to go. Unreal. Hey, I'll be glad to have it behind me in all honesty.
Yes.
A few people have texted through on 3483 just about the live show. First question, both shows at your comedy night, are they the same or are they different? Asking for a mate who has tickets for tonight.
Oh.
So it's the same show twice.
I mean, what are they? They can't expect us to do a different show every night.
No.
Yeah. Well, the show's going to be it's going to be what he gets.
Well, exactly.
I might get more kid off tonight, though.
So more nudity tonight.
Probably. We're probably going to add a little bit of mayo tonight, to be honest.
Yeah, I think we are. Last night fever. Effing show ending at 6 p.m. for the second night in a row. I thought you were Backbone. Someone else calling us weak-gutted dogs.
And not only calling us weak-gutted dogs, but gutted dogs.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
The best kind.
So if you aren't aware, we are ending the show at 6 tonight because in an hour we are on stage to do a live comedy performance.
Well, technically an hour and a half.
Yeah, I was just putting mustard on it.
Yeah, I just need to stretch and stuff before a show, though.
Can you actually?
No.
Mike? Sorry, Mogey.
Yeah.
Before we do this relay race, we need to make Jay stretch.
I think, look, the comedy will come from whatever his preparation is.
He never warms up for anything. It does my head in.
Yeah. I'm the same, to be honest. I stretch less and less the older I get.
Yeah. But you got to remember, I do stretching every day at my house, Keyzie.
Your yoga app doesn't count. Hey. See you tomorrow, folks.
Yeah, good stuff. Bye!